Hello, my name is Brian McKissick, and I'm excited to show you the budget planning functionality offered by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain Management. Note, at times during the video, I'm going to refer to the system as FSCM for short. An organization can configure budget planning and then set up budget planning processes to meet its requirements and procedures for budget preparation. By understanding this functionality, you can more efficiently implement budget planning within your organization. The processes for both long-term strategic planning and annual budget planning are supported through a budget plan document. Budget plan documents are tightly integrated with Microsoft Excel. Users can configure unlimited monetary and quantitative scenarios and can also define a budgeting organizational hierarchy to both support top-down and bottom-up budgeting methods. Budget register entries let you revise original budgets, perform transfers, and carry forward budget amounts from the previous year. Users can evaluate the budget through the budget cycle and can make any adjustments that are required in the form of budget revisions and transfers. Based on the established budget, a company can enable budget control. Some organizations leave the budget as is and are more reactive than proactive if a budget doesn't meet expectations. Other organizations enable budget control policies that prevent users from purchasing if budget funds aren't available. Budget warnings can be set up to appear on transactions. Factors that you can configure budget control for include financial dimensions, such as main accounts, cost centers, departments that require particular attention, time, source documents, funds available calculation, override permissions, basically stating which users, if any, have permission to exceed the available budget. Dynamics 365 allows for the use of rolling forecasts. A rolling forecast is a regular comparison of a budget to actuals and is used to define how well the company operates against the budget. A rolling forecast is used to identify trends. Rolling forecasts can be done in parallel with the planning for the upcoming budget cycle. Additional planning and budgeting capabilities are available and are integrated within ledger budgets. Workforce budgets. Our workforce budgeting includes detailed budget cost component planning for positions, compensation groups, and so on. Fixed asset budgets. Based on fixed asset information, you can calculate planned depreciation and record other planned transactions that are related to fixed assets. Project budgets. In the projects module, you can create detailed project forecasts. The project forecast will include details about the planned hours, expenses, fees, and items. Demand forecasting. Based on historical transaction data, you can estimate future inventory, demand, and create demand forecasts. Users can create budget plans either directly in the client by using a configurable budget plan document page or through Excel. Excel provides several additional capabilities. For example, you can use external data as a source for a budget plan, do custom calculations, and use Microsoft pivot table and charts. Most of the variables in the budget planning process can be configured. Although you can use Excel for budget planning, the application is kept as a single source of truth and helps prevent budget control issues. The following illustration shows an example where the corporate headquarters estimate the baseline amounts for the initial budget and distribute them to sales departments. The sales departments then estimate and submit their forecast back to the headquarters, where the budget manager aggregates and adjusts the forecast. Finally, the budget manager sends the adjusted budget amounts to the chief financial officer for review, final adjustments, and approval. On the organization hierarchy page, you can specify an organization hierarchy as a budget planning hierarchy for each budget planning process. The budget planning hierarchy doesn't have to match the standard organization hierarchy that is used for other purposes. Because this hierarchy is used to aggregate and distribute data, you might want to have it have a different structure. In the example above, the sales departments are under a headquarters level that includes budget and finance departments. This structure likely differs from the structure that is used to manage operations for the sales departments. Only one organization hierarchy can be assigned to each budget planning process. We'll now look at the Ledger Budgets and Forecast workspace in FSCM. To provide a quick reference, a workspace is a collection of commonly used links, tiles, and lists that a user would navigate into to perform their roles. It is a great tool that conveniently organizes activities that a user may need, and these spaces are also customizable. This detail shows the expense dimension values that are over the defined thresholds. It lists the revised budget amounts, actual amounts, variance amounts, and calculates the percent used. This other detail shows the revenue main account dimensions that are under the set thresholds. It lists the revised budget amounts, actual amounts, variance amounts, and calculates the percent used. Now, we'll click into the Analytics tab. The Analytics tab is an embedded Microsoft Power BI report that is added to a workspace. This specific tab provides a visual representation of the actual versus budget comparisons of the budgeted expenses and revenue figures. You can see on the right panel that users are able to filter their data for areas like account category, budget codes, main account, and time periods. The graphs automatically update when the data is filtered to provide a real-time view of your data. We're now going to look at the budget planning workspace. These two tiles present an easy-to-read view of what budget plans are assigned to the user and what plans need attention. This is useful to ensure what users know what's on their plate. And above, you can see in the budget planning process dropdown that this budget is for the current year operating expenses budget. Now, looking at the details tab, we're looking at a milestone activities detail that shows which activities fall under the budget planning process. This table highlights the specific milestone steps and allows the team to set due dates for each step to ensure everything is completed within the deadlines set to avoid any issues. Looking at the budget plan detail, this shows a list of the budget plans that fall under this budget planning process. It highlights the number, name, and what specific stage this plan is in within the submission and approval process. Now, we'll click into the budget plan hierarchy tile to view the hierarchy that's been configured. Here, you can view the budget plan hierarchy. This includes the visual presentation of the hierarchy and organizational details like the workflow status, review account by stage of the budget plan, and comparison of budget amounts. Now we're going to look at an example of a simple approval workflow that can be utilized in the budget planning module. A budget planning workflow consists of a set of stages that a budget plan moves through. This workflow will be used to create, submit, review, and approve budget plans. Within these workflow, you can configure user groups to determine the different approval thresholds and ensure proper authorization is followed. Here, you can see an example of a template that can be used to create and import budget plans for the year. This is done through Excel. These templates are the workbooks that are linked to each budget plan to provide additional analysis and data entry capabilities. Once complete, the imports are loaded into the system and activated. The system allows for editing of the columns on the template, so there are numerous options available for any type of budget. One efficiency is that import templates can be used continuously for years, while the user just needs to update the contents and re-import into the system. Now, let's go back into the system to look at an example of a budget plan. This is the budget register entry where users can see a list of budgets in the system. As you can see, you can have multiple budget plans that are used for a variety of purposes. If looking for a specific record in this list, users can filter the columns to locate it more easily. By clicking into a specific record, we can see an example of a budget plan and what it looks like. You will notice that structure of the budget in the lower budget account entries table with dimensions, amounts, and account types. Thank you for spending some time with us today. If you are looking to create more efficiency in your budget planning activities, let's talk. Boyer can help you to save time, reduce errors, and lower costs. Transform your budget planning processes with Microsoft Dynamics 365, Finance and Supply Chain Management. Contact us today.